These wires right here are good for 100 landings. After 100 landings, they have to replace it. If that occurs during a recovery, it only takes them just a couple of minutes to do. So they're very good at it. Okay. So that's just another shot that we've already looked at there. So, what does the pilot worry about? You know, what is he, when he flies here, what are the things that he's concerned about? Well, he's concerned about what we've already talked about, his altitude, his glide slope, which is set for 3.5 degrees using the Fresnel lens. And then he needs to make sure that he's on speed. He needs to be within 3 or 4 miles an hour either side, 160 miles an hour. And he doesn't want to look in the cockpit to see that. Because, you know, you're looking at, things are happening really fast here. You want to be looking down in here, you want to be looking right at the center line because you want to be lined up. And oh, by the way, if the ship's making its own wind, the best they can do is down the straight deck. And so you're probably going to have it moving away from you to the left a little bit the whole time. So you're making a right turn as you're coming, I'm sorry, to the right. You're making a right turn as you're coming down, staying on that center line the whole time. So what we do is we take the airspeed, we convert it to angle of attack, and we put it up here in what's called an angle of attack indexer. Look where that's located. Right up here, so the pilot can look through that airspeed at his glide slope, and of course his lineup is directly ahead. And that's how you can do it. So if you have a green here, it means you're at least 3-4 miles an hour too slow. If that's the case, you got to lower the nose and add a little power. If you're fast over on this side, you're going to do just the opposite. Take back on the nose a little bit and probably reduce a little power. But you're constantly playing with both the stick and the throttle to keep it in the middle there. If you keep it in the middle all the way down, you will get what's called an OK pass. An OK pass is worth 4 points. You know, it's a greenie. If you go, when you go in the ready rooms, look, there'll be a greenie board up there. So that's an OK. A fair is a more common pass. You make some mistakes, but none of them are too wild. You get 3 points. Then you got a no grade. A no grade means you made some major errors. You were quite colorful, and they more than likely had to say something to you. Right for lineup power, something like that. That's worth 2 points. And then you have what's called a cut pass, which is they skip a line and go to 0. No points at all. And some ships, or some air wings, actually delete, go to -1. And this is a pass that scared you as a pilot. It scared the landing signal officer. It scared the air boss. It scared the captain. The bad news is you're going to get to see all those guys, you know, afterwards. And it's usually the younger, more inexperienced guys that end up having that kind of a pass. So, like I said before, there's a number 1 and there's a number 100. And that it can be for line periods or for the entire 8-month cruise. And I will say that my oldest daughter is a carrier pilot. She flies the E2 Hawkeye up there. She has 500 carrier landings. Okay, and she, of course, we have little family arguments about who's better and all that kind of stuff. Well, unfortunately for me, in an 8-month cruise, she was the number 1 pilot and landing on the USS Nimitz going out there. So I never hear the end of that. But anyway, if there's any little girls around here that want to go, yes. No women on this ship, but about 18% of the crew on the nukes over there, like the Reagan and the Stennis, which was in here this weekend, are women, including pilots. So it's, and that just made us better because there's some really good women pilots out there, like my bragging daughter, you know. Okay, so this is what she flies, all right? Now this is what is so much fun. I mean, in the daytime, I enjoyed all of my day landings. Really a good opportunity. Even though the deck moves around when you're out there, you know, the Fresnel lens is good for about 10 feet either side. And then we have a backup where the LSO helps you out. Not that at all, right? Because you have a horizon to look at. Oh, and then the sun goes down and things. Really, the fun goes away. I'll be totally honest with you. The fun goes away, and when the sun goes down, this gets. You cannot be a bad instrument pilot and survive this. I don't care how good a fighter pilot you are. You have to be a good instrument pilot, or you'll wash out somewhere along the line. Because there is most often no horizon. Occasionally there'll be a moon, you know, and you're out there, or if you're close to shore, you might see some lights. Normally, this is what you see. so this is the drop light that comes down there. And that light, if that light is over here, it says, it points this way. It says turn right to line it up. It's a fly to the ferret. But you're really looking at this, and now the landing signal officer becomes a big player. Everything changes. You no longer come in overhead, you come in straight in, and you shoot an approach, an instrument approach. And you're all lined up out there starting at 5,000 feet, 20 miles, one airplane per stack, 5,000, 6,000, 21 miles, and so on. You all fly the same airspeed coming in until you get to 3 miles, and then you go to your speed for your airplane, which can vary by a few miles an hour. This one, 160 miles an hour. Okay, so now you'll come up, the controller is in the ship here using the radars you see up here, and he's watching you and he's giving some corrections. He's saying, you know, come right to heading so-and-so, and you're slightly above glide path, slightly right of center line, correcting. Now on center line, you're 3/4 of a mile, call the ball. That means call this if you see him, which you should at 3/4 of a mile. So you'll say, if you're in a Corsair, you'll say 301 Corsair ball 3.0. And the LSO will say Roger ball, and that means he's now got you for control. And he will give you corrections from that point. In all honesty, on a dark night, and really, you know, nasty, maybe a little rain, and the deck's moving around, I don't care how many times I practiced that call, it would come out something like this. 301 Corsair ball 3.0. You're pretty uptight. They actually measured people in combat. They had blood pressure and heart rate versus coming in to land at night. And guys were getting shot at over the beach, and their blood pressure and heart rate was, elevated. But when they got right there, it was off the charts. This is, again, you only got about 15 seconds now before you touch down. So, if this isn't enough, there's one more situation. If you cannot get your tail hook down, or if you had battle damage, hydraulic failures, and stuff that happened often in Vietnam, then you would have to take a barricade. The barricade is set up like this. What this is 20 feet high, okay? These kids can set this up in 5 minutes. But if it's you, and you're out there, and it's night, and you're coming back, and you know you've got, I can't get my hook down, I got a hydraulic failure, honey brakes, whatever, maybe one of my landing gear is halfway down, and I said, now take a barricade there, Captain. And they're going to say, okay, you hold overhead, go to the tanker, the big guy back there, the A3 whale, we affectionately refer to it as. That's a tanker. He'll be hanging 5,000 feet overhead. You go up and get some more gas, which is always fun at night. Because unlike the Air Force, which has a guy back there that steers the probe onto you, in the Navy, you as the pilot have to get into the probe. Okay, so now you got all the gas, and this is happening. And the landing signal officer is giving you a brief. Because when you're still going to shoot this approach and come in here, but when you get in close, this is going to go away because that barricade is going to be in the way, and all you're going to see is that. And so when you call the ball, you're coming out. I can't even, only a dog would hear me now, my call. I'd be so high and squeaky. That as I call the ball, the landing signal officer is going to be farther out, probably 1.5 miles, and he's going to say, Roger ball, I got you, listen to everything I say. Do not take your own wave off. Meaning if you get in close, take a wave off, you could catch that barricade, and that'd be that would be a bad day for everybody. So he'll talk to you and he'll say, okay, you're a little high, work it down. Okay, now a little power to catch it, a little right for your lineup, and then he's going to say something that just chills your blood. And as a jet pilot, he's going to say, cut, 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 shut the airplane off. I mean, not just take it to idle, shut it all the way off. As you touch down, you're going to come down and hit and go into this barricade, and then this netting and stuff is going to come around your airplane and stop you just like the wire. It will damage, cause some minor damage on stuff that's sticking up, and basically you're home free and maybe 5 pounds lighter and certainly a squeaky voice, but you're back. And so that's basically what it's like to land on a carrier. As I said, it's a lot of fun. Those of us who have done it are extremely proud. It does have, I'm even proud of my bragging daughter, who does this for a living. And once you do it, I spent 28 years in the Navy. I was going to be a crop duster. Probably wouldn't have been alive today if that had come to fruition. But I ended up going in the Navy, And you spend, by the way, you get about 100 landings ashore before your first landing in that red and white airplane there is what we use because it's straight wing and fairly forgiving. You get that first, and then you move on to the other airplanes. But once I did that, I got to Pensacola, Florida from North Dakota in the wintertime, and 28 years later I went home. So, anyway, thanks for your attention, and tell the other folks you see that come on down here, okay? If anybody's got any questions, I'll take them individually. All right, thanks.